Hi modern fashion designers, welcome back to class. I want to specially thank all my returning subscribers, and if this is your first time seeing us, you're highly welcome. Please join us by clicking on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this very beautiful trendy skirt, and guess what guys, we're using the freehand method for this. I also have a tutorial on the top. If you want to learn how to make this top, you can find the link to the tutorial on the comment section and also on the description box. So guys, to start, first thing first is to put your fabric on fold. We are using the freehand method and we are cutting the front part first. Now the width of this fold here is your hip divided by 4, your hip circumference divided by 4 plus your seam allowance. So for mine, I did my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. After that, what I'll do is to come down here by 1 inch. So this 1 inch I have here will be for my seam allowance for the front. I'll be using it to turn the upper part because the skirt doesn't have a waistband. So the 1 inch I have here will be used to tidy up the upper part of the skirt. Now what I will do next is to take my hip length. So from the waist measurement, from the waistline, this is my hip length. Remember, we are making a high waist skirt. This is my hip line. Then I'll come to this waistline here and measure my waist circumference divided by 4. This is what I have. I'm working with waist 32. So this is 8 inches here. And I'll come to the hip line, measure my hip measurement divided by 4. Working with hip 42, so this is 10.5, and I'll connect here. So for this skirt, you are not making use of a dart. After that, I'll come to this hip line here and go up by 3 inches. Remember, you can go above 3 inches. The one we have on the thumbnail is about 4 to 5 inches below the waistline. So you can start from here and slant. But for me, I just want to do 3 inches above the hip line. After going up by 3 inches here, what I will do is to come down here by 5 inches. Remember, 5 inches is not also constant. You can do below or above it. Now, I'll connect from this 3 inches to this 5 inches. So guys, as you can see, it's also easy. We are basically done. What I will do now is to add 1 inch to this side here for my side seam allowance. Add ½ inch here to join this upper part to the gathered part of the skirt. And this 1 inch I have here, remember I said earlier that it is for hemming the upper part. This is it. 1 inch here, ½ inch on this part here, and 1 inch here. So what I'll do is to cut this out, then use it to cut out the back part. To cut out the back part, what you do is to put your fabric on fold like we did to the front part. So what I also did is to mark out my zipper allowance. So this is 1 inch for my zipper allowance. What I'll do now is to place this front part here on this zipper allowance line here, like this. Then from here, I'll cut out this part like this. As you can see, this is it. So what we're going to do now is to start joining. So we'll join this part, the whole of this part, before cutting the down part of it. Now this is the front part and this is the back part here. Remember, we have 2 of these and the front is on fold here. Now what I'll do is to take this to my sewing machine and run a stitch here. Remember, we have 1 inch here for hemming allowance for the top here. So what I'll do is to determine the length of my zipper. So for me, I'm having 8 here. So I'll run a stitch from here down to this place. After joining this side, what I'll do now is to open it up like this. Then I'll pick up the front part here. Face it right side facing each other like this. and join the side with the 1 inch seam allowance that I left. After joining the side, what I will do next is to fold the upper part with the 1 inch seam allowance too. So I will join the sides and fold the top part. So guys, after joining the side and hemming the upper part here, what we are going to do now is to attach the gathered part. But before we do that, we are going to measure the circumference of this down part here. For me, after measuring mine from here, you measure. I have 12.5 here and 25 here. So that means that front is having 25 inches and back is having 25 inches, which makes it a total of 50 inches. So, and also what I have here, I'm making a skirt of 21 inches length. So 21 inches, I'm measuring from the sides. I have 9 inches up to this half here. Remember, the remaining half is for joining. So from here to here, I have 9 inches. So 9 inches, when I minus 9 inches from 21, I'll be having 12 inches. So because this 12 inches now, I'll add half to it to join it to this part. That makes it 12 and a half. And I also need 1 inch to hem the down part, and that will make it 13 and a half. So that means that the strap I'll be cutting now, the length of it will be 13 and a half. Now remember the side here, I measured 50 inches. So to cut out the width of the pieces we are going to join to this down part, what I'll do is to multiply the 50 inches by 3 and I'll have 150 inches. So I'll cut out a strap of 150 inches width and 13.5 inches length. I hope you understand. So this is it. So you can decide to join, or you make it a straight strap. Like for me, if I decide to make this straight without joining, I'll be consuming about 4.2 yards of fabric. But what I did is just to take my fabric, measure 51 inches because I'll be joining. So the 1 inch will make up for all the joining I will have. So I measured 51 inches width, then I divided it into 3 because the length of what I'm having is 45 inches, and when you times 13.5, which is the length of what I'm having here, 13.5 by 3 is not up to 45, and the whole of the fabric I'm using here, the length of it is 45. So what I did is to measure out a width of 51 inches and divided the length into 3. So that is why you see the joining I have here. But if you're not okay with the joining, you can just measure out a total of 150 inches. Remember that this 150 inches is not constant. I'm just saying it is the measurement I have for mine. So measure what you have on your own skirt. Whatever it gives you, the circumference of what you have here, you multiply it by 3, and that will be the width of this particular part here. I hope you understand. Now to join these two together, what I did is to locate the midpoint of this. Fold it into 2 equal halves and notch the center of it. Now if you want, you can gather it. Remember, I have 50 inches here as the circumference of this. If you want, you can first of all gather this to form 50 inches before attaching it to this. But for me, I won't use that method because that is a whole lot of work. So what I'll do now is to open here up. So I opened here up. I'll turn it to the right side. So place the both of them right side facing each other and stitch up to, remember I opened the seam allowance of this, so I'll stitch up to this 1 inch seam allowance before I start gathering. So I'll gather it. Now the midpoint of this will stop at this center front here. So that means I'll gather it from here to here, half of it from here to here, and the other half from here to here. After that, I'll close it up. After gathering, this is what I have. So what I'll do next is to close this place up, to continue sewing from here to the hem of this. Then after that, I'll hem the down part of this. Do not forget to serge all your raw edges. So after this, I'll still take this to my weaving machine and weave the raw edges. After that, what I will do is to install the zipper. So I'll attach the zipper on this side. Now what I want you to note that, see this part here, you give it a notch. This is on the center front. So that pointy edge you have there, you notch it. So guys, like I said earlier, I'll serge the raw parts, hem the down parts, join these two together and attach the zipper. I'll do that and show you what we have. So guys, this is our beautiful skirt. Do not forget to give me a like, and if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in my next video. And oh yes, remember we have the tutorial of this top on this channel. Feel free to check it out. I'll see you in my next class. Bye for now.